YouTube? What's going on? Nick here from The Real Hero Show to talk about the Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max. There will be spoilers in case you have not watched this season or the previous season one. And I'm just going to get right to it and give you a pretty short review here. Thus far, I just watched all 4 episodes, so I am completely caught up. I didn't do a video covering the first 3 episodes that dropped last week, but since we're at about almost the halfway point, since the 5th episode is an interlude, which is right dag smack in the middle of the season with the 9 episodes, I figured I'd just do a first half and then I'll kind of keep going through each episode week after week until it's over. I think this season is off to a pretty good start in comparison to the first season. I think through 4 episodes, most of them have been, in my opinion, at least a solid 8 out of 10, with maybe the 3rd episode being the weakest of the 3. I think learning more about Eli Gemstones' background, him being called the Maniac Kid, having a past which, a very broken, very non-righteous sort of path that he was on. And I think that's sort of the idea. And I think even realistically speaking, if you know anyone, if you go to church yourself, or people who are religious or spiritual, stuff like that, there'll often be times where, and people personally I know as well that have had rough pasts, rough upbringings, but just are very, very religious or spiritual right now, and that's okay. And I think it's really interesting to learn more about his path, because we get the introduction of a few new characters this season, which is great. One in particular is Eric Roberts playing Junior in the present day timeline. We know that Eli Gemstone has a wrestling-ish background, and he was kind of hired by the mafia and worked for Junior and his father. But for the sake of having Eric Roberts as an actor, who Oscar nominated, has been in a bunch of stuff, right? Like The Dark Knight as one of the gangster mobs who has his legs broken by Batman. Great to see him in this show. I think him and John Goodman have great chemistry together while they are in scenes together. Again, one of the reasons why I started watching the show when season 1 came out mainly was because of John Goodman. I mean, how could you not like John Goodman? Not only that, but you've got Adam Devine in it. You've got Walton Goggins, who's hilarious, and of course, the hilarious comedian himself, Danny McBride. And if you haven't watched Vice Principals, which also came out on HBO a few years ago, I think by now, there's only 2 seasons of that, but Walton Goggins was in it. Danny McBride obviously was great, and so was the sister Judy. She was also in it as well. So again, I think Eddie Patterson. There we go. She was in it as well. And I think it's just they've got this great writing, this great humor. And I think, again, people are probably only watching this if they really like Danny McBride's humor, in which that case, again, I think the writing of this season is already great and far better than the first season. But I'm curious to see where it's going to go, knowing what we know now. I think Kelvin's God Squad is just hilarious. I mean, the thing that he puts Titus through in the 3rd episode, it's like you can't do that in real life, and it's just there's a lot of cringy and campy things in this show, and I can see why people might not like it, but I just watch it and just think it's hilarious because a lot of it is so stupid, but there's also a lot of great humor in it as well. From the get-ups, the talking, and just the lines, the dialogue, the characterizations, and how dumb Judy is, and how whacked out her relationship with BJ is, and getting baptized, and BJ's atheist family, and like Judy just just stirring the pot. And of course, in the fourth episode where John Goodman has Adam Devine's, so Eli has Kelvin's hands like, crossed, and he's going to break his thumbs like the old wrestling moves, like, you won't do it, and just breaks his thumbs. I was laughing. Overall, again, I think the introductions of some of these key characters in this season alone, we've got Jason Schwartzman, who plays the journalist who gets burnt alive, apparently, and is murdered. Of course, that's the big mystery in terms of who did it. So we've got a little bit of a whodunit sort of thing here. Was it the Gemstones? Was it someone else? Because we know it wasn't Eli Gemstone, because he just cut his nuts trying to manscape, trying to please a woman. Messed up. Jessica Lowe plays Lindy Listens, wife to Lyle Listens, played by Eric Andre. And I mean, as soon as I saw him in this show, I'm like, this is going to be even more hilarious, because again, the comedy that Eric brings just in general is just fantastic. I forget the name of the movie, but it was sort of like a Jackass type of ordeal. It came out, I want to say, a year ago on Netflix. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name. I'll put it in the comment section or the description section later. But hilarious movie with Eric Andre in it, and again, just him in this cowboy, Southern, Texas, this Texan getup is just hilarious. And again, he just pulls it off because he's a comedian and actor, and it's great to have him part of the show here. I'm thinking, as far as who killed the people at the journalist's house that he was staying up and here. I want to say it was the old man who paid him a visit. He was walking his dog, I believe, and he kind of, smoking a cigarette, asked him to put it out, and he just lights it back up afterwards, right as the old man leaves. I think it's him. I don't know if it was Junior. It might have been. I think that's kind of what we're led to believe, that it was him, because of things that have come up in conversation, what the kids said, and talking about the Gemstones. Thought I could do something to help Eli out, and even Eli thinks that it was Junior, but he's not certain. So I think it's the old man that came up to Nathaniel and was like, hey, you're from around here, this isn't New York, you better watch yourself. I think that was the tell. I could be wrong, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section, if you think that's him or not, or if that's who done it. Again, I think as far as where the season is going, some of the other hilarious parts, we get a little bit more about Walton Goggins' character, right? Where starts off with the flashback and how he leaves his first kid, and which he was all grown up now, but he too just has this past where even though he's this, he's supposed to be this righteous man, this preacher, he's essentially done some messed up things, like abandoned his family, his previous wife, his son, who obviously had some issues, and then in this episode seemingly does it again. So again, it's one of those things where some people just don't change after time, or you think they do, and there is this sort of theme about it, when you've got Jesse and Kelvin, they're talking, and they don't even know that baby Billy Freeman is just chilling, slurping on a mojito, and then he just kind of has this idea and says, that Eli really ain't the person, he's never changed, and not to say he was a hypocrite himself, because he does the same thing to Amber, and he just leaves, gets in his car, and just dips out. So I think, again, so far so good this season. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. Next episode we get an interlude. So it seems that we're getting a flashback to when, Amy Lee is alive. Of course, obviously a younger version because of the flashback, right? The kids are younger. We see all the commotion between them and kind of just how things were established with the Gemstones' enterprise and how they want to build this super church and Coliseum and whatnot. So it should be interesting, though. I wonder if there's going to be any more depth or real meaning behind it. I'm sure there will be, but if anything, I think it'll be more centered around Eli Gemstone and then Amy Lee Gemstone, his wife, because we really don't get we haven't seen a lot of her because she passed away, of course, and seeing her younger, maybe there's more commotion, maybe there's more again that happened between Mr. and Mrs. Gemstone that we just weren't aware of until now. So kind of fleshing out the story, the background, and backstory, character development. So it'll be very interesting to kind of see how all that plays out. And again, I will be covering this show from here on out, so you can just be on the lookout and stay tuned for more of the Righteous Gemstones videos, recaps, breakdowns, reviews, reactions, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'll be talking about it and talking with people if y'all care about leaving some comments below. So with that being said, that's going to wrap it up. Do leave some comments. I do love reading them. I do love chatting with people. And until then, peace out, y'all.